welcome to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Well, I think that today we're going to talk about every single one of these emotions because this is a very schizophrenic season of Once Upon a Time. I am once again joined from I don't know where, the one, the only, the Biggles. Hello, Biggles.
Hello, Miss Martin Muses. How are you today?
Holy crap, you've got energy. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. I'm just chilling like a shillin' and gelling like a felon. Sitting here getting my outline of the show tonight. Stephanie is not able to join us tonight, so wish her well where she is. I believe a lot of people are having fun in Dallas. Everything's bigger in Texas. Uh, well,
Except for the
hey.
bacon egg toasters at Sonic. Those are smaller.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're smaller. The bread's smaller. And I was like, come on, Texas. It's supposed to be bigger here.
Yeah, well, they're trying to cheat. Everyone's trying to cheat. Even
Yeah,
the eggs are getting smaller. I'm like, how do you make smaller eggs? They've
yeah,
made
I don't
it.
know. I don't know. But I am excited to talk about the best season of Once Upon a Time. And you know why it's
And
the best season, right?
yes, I do. Tell us.
There's like 5 minutes of Snow White, so it's perfect. You can't go wrong if you only have 5 minutes of Snow White. And you know what? She still has a moment where you just want to smack her in the face.
Yeah, I think we only see her in the very last episode. We don't even see her in the
Correct. Yeah,
premiere.
the
Yeah,
very
because
last episode.
they got Emma to come on the first episode. I remember
Hmm.
that. Yeah. All right. Well, before we get going, let's say, oh, hello. Look at all these roses from Biggles. Thank you.
Yes.
And Michael's Asylum. Hello. Thank you for being here. He says, got the notification the instant you went live was the first time I ever set the YouTube notification. Well, hey, thank you. I do appreciate that. I certainly do. Friday Night Tights. Oh, okay. Yeah. Did I say Geeks and Gamers? Well, whatever it is, you know what I
It's
mean. They're
both.
all
It's both because Friday Night Tights is a Geeks and Gamers and Nerdrotic thing.
precisely, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of people are showing up there, and and I am not. I am staying in my bunker in an undisclosed location that I wish everybody well. Some folks were coming from overseas, even, and they're crazy, all the way from England. So I guess apparently we're allowed to overseas travel. So I say they should have the next meetup in like Rome or something, like somewhere awesome like that.
Well, I think the Dallas one has like more cooler people than Orlando. Because I was looking at some of it and I was like, I would I wish my vacation to Texas was this week, not last week, even though I went for my birthday.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I was like, I would have loved to see some of those people that were there. And
Now you're meaning the guests for the
yeah,
convention
the
or
guests
the
for the convention, and I don't even mean like Ryan and them. I just mean the the guests that they have, because some of the anime people they have are really awesome, and
uh-huh.
then they have like a lot of famous actors that I like too that were in there. So
Hmm. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, because at first I was like, "Dang, that's cold." So I thought you were talking about the friends that were meeting up. It's like,
oh
well,
no
I
no
like
no,
these ones
I'm
better.
not that mean.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, you're only that mean to Snow. Well, okay. Before we get going, well, I guess this goes along with the topic. The topic I always like to do. These outlines where it's like, this whole season I think it was cursed before it began. We did have an official new curse, and I'm calling it, in you curse. And but the, off the bat, they announced that the cast wasn't going to be the same. That half the cast was not being invited back. And in many cases, it was some of the more popular ones. I know you don't love Snow, but I love me some Charming, and
I
they
know
did.
you love Charming.
Yeah, and they didn't have Belle or who who else?
Well,
Oh
I think
yeah,
Bell's in 4 episodes, I think.
yeah. Well, you see, it's funny because it turned out that then they kind of brought him in. I think they brought him in as guest stars, but they didn't have them as season regulars, probably as a money issue. But yeah, but regardless, they Zelina, who everyone loves, at least the actress, if maybe not the
Yeah.
character. So off the bat, they made those announcements. We weren't going to have them. And then the big one was that Emma was not really going to be back, but Hook was. And so everyone's like, okay, but it's not going to be the same Hook. And then they
Yeah.
announced that they had to move to Friday night where TV shows go to die.
Was it Friday? Oh, yeah, it did switch to Friday night. I never
Mhm.
really noticed because I watched it the next day on Hulu.
Hulu, yeah.
Yeah, because I stopped recording it. I was like, I don't care.
Well, I think we all did. This was the first time season, the only season of Once Upon a Time where I was not watching it as it was. But the 7 o'clock Central time for Once Upon a Time on Sunday night, it was the perfect time because everyone was about ready to start their school week, their work week. It was casual. It was just something that everyone would get together and watch. And then Friday night, it's like, screw that. Friday night, we're all going to go out and do something else. And
Yeah.
certainly not, for a show that we all sincerely, I think, believed should have just ended with season 6. So,
Season 3.
well, yeah, definitely, yes, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I am a proponent of season 3, but they did bring it to an end. Um, so this new curse. So first of all, the new curse in real life.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. There's no need for a curse.
Yes.
Literally, there's no need for a curse in this entire season.
Yeah. And the fact that they did it just showed that everything was new, as in you. Like there was a new curse. There was a new
Cast.
a new cast, a new Hook, new Henry, and even a new little Henry because Lucy was basically the same role as what Henry was when he was young, and and it it just didn't work. It was ill conceived, and I think Michael's Asylum makes a good point here on all of this. Why they even made season 7 is a mystery. I don't think the ratings were good. How did it make money? Well, it didn't. I think that's why it got canceled. It season 7 was a life support decision, and they could have actually gone a route, in my humble opinion, that would have worked if they'd have gotten a little creative with how they presented it, as doing like a whole bunch of like little mini series, like things like Once Upon a Time in Wonderland and all that. And then they wouldn't have had to have worried about the issues. Like they could have done a little mini series with the arc of Belle, the beauty episode and all that. They could have done that, just had 3 episodes and then and then done 3 episodes of like, oh, this is what Regina's doing, and then this is what this person's doing, and then just ended it. It would have worked if they'd have done that, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I agree. That new curse thing was so dumb. There was no reason for a new curse. There was no reason for a curse. I understand they had to change their location where they were filming or whatever, but there was no reason for a new curse. You could have just said Henry moved here. Here's his people, and there's a problem here.
Exactly. And there was no reason why they couldn't break their quote unquote magic rules, because they did already anyways. They could have had, like, I don't know, Gold in his basement doing something weird with a potion that suddenly they could all leave Storybrooke. Like they didn't need a curse to do that. They could have just traveled and all gone to be with Henry. They didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they also pulled out of their buttocks that Henry was able to go through a portal. Wait, was that? Oh, yeah, he got a magic bean that they were able
Yeah,
to revive.
he got a magic bean from Tiny. And
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he got a magic bean from Tiny for his graduation present. So that's how he was able to go to where he went and met Jacinda and everybody, there was one magic bean that I think got its magic back, but I think that was season 6, not season 7.
Yeah. Okay, and I think, and that even happened off screen because, of course, they never brought Tiny back, or as I call him, Hurley from Lost. So it's a plausible off-screen moment, and he took his motorcycle with him and meets this new Cinderella.
Oh my god, Jacinda is the worst character in the season. Probably,
Yes.
more than likely. I think there's someone worse, but I can't name them off the top of my head. And she has like no chemistry with Henry.
Yes, you see,
It's
that
so
was the other
awkward. It's so awkward. Henry and Ivy, or Drizella or whatever.
Yes.
This season's Hottie Hot Hot, by the way. She is my Ruby of the season. But had better chemistry. Like, I could believe that Drizella was his true love and not Jacinda, because they had no chemistry at all.
You know, you're right, because one of the first episodes that I actually bothered watching was the beauty episode with Belby, for reasons, obviously. And I hadn't watched anything else. And I saw Henry interacting with Drizella, and it's like, damn, they're sparkling. Yeah. And then when he's with Cinderella, it's like his sister.
Yeah.
And that was also ill-conceived, because I remember them saying there are new Prince Charming and Snow White. Now, I know you don't like snowing. I did. And I'm like, listen, you're already setting yourself up for failure, because you're telling us that these people are supposed to have the same chemistry as Snow and Charming, who a lot of their chemistry came from the fact that they were literally falling in love at the same time in real life. So so that was all going on. And so they're like telling us, you've got to like this romance. You must like this romance. And we're like, no, it actually kind of sucks. And we already have a Cinderella. And when you consider how many fairy tales there are out there, they could have just chosen any fairy tale to make her.
Yeah, they could have made her anybody else, and it wouldn't have mattered, right? And they even, there's an episode or whatever where Nick, or whatever his name is, Hansel or Jack or whatever you want to call him, and Zelina, and there's a witch in they're in Oz. They're literally in Oz. They put another blind witch in Oz.
Oh, you're right.
And the character is, or Nick, or whatever the kid's name, Hansel, whatever. He's like, there's no good witches. You're in Oz. Glenda's literally named the Good Witch of the North.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Like, what? You're in Oz, and you think there's bad witches? And
Yeah.
we already know in Oz from the earlier seasons that there's at least 2 good witches.
Yes.
The South and the North. The East was good, but then you have Grumpy making a scene. Well, one you throw a house on and one you hit with water.
Yes.
So obviously the East one went bad, right? She went wicked.
Yeah, it was the East and the West were bad, and the North and the South were good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they forgot their own lore.
I was like, this is so dumb. I got genuinely upset with that episode, even though it was a decent episode, but I got upset with that episode because of how stupid it was.
Yeah, it was positively absurd. And before we move on, this is a good point. Michael Asylum is saying, was Henry still the author at the end of season 6? Couldn't he just have merged the real world with the fantasy worlds to allow them full access to the real world? Well, yeah, he's the author, right?
Yeah, but he's still the author.
But they conveniently forget and remember that on a dime.
Yep. Well, they brought it back at the very end, and they break the rules with that one too.
Yes. Yeah. They see Disney Star Wars isn't the only ones that ruin their stuff. Though
Oh,
I have a little bit of forgiveness for them though, because the writers, the showrunners, they were only ruining their own show. So I have more tolerance for people ruining their own stuff.
yeah.
Oh, hey, we have Norwegian in the house. Hello, Steeg. He says, "Hey there, Teresa and company. Hope you are well."
Just don't call him Swedish.
No, 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 no,
Don't
no.
definitely don't call him Swedish.
No, he is pure Norwegian. Oh, Disney does own Once Upon a Time, though. Yeah, yes, it does. I guess what I'm trying to say is that Disney Star Wars, the people that are running it like aren't George Lucas.
Hmm.
So I have more forgiveness for what Adam and Eddie did to Once Upon a Time because they were doing it to their own show. So it'd be the equivalent if George Lucas was still in charge of Star Wars and all this stuff was happening. I'd be like, well, it's George's; he can do whatever he wants. So that's why I'm a little bit forgiving to Adam and Eddie. And of course, as I've said on several occasions, Adam, I will always say good things about him. Uh, oh gosh, Disney fingers are up a lot of.
Yep, yep, yep.
Yep, in every hole. Uh, so.
But yeah, back to the topic of new curse. They're at a new place, which is Hibernian Heights in Seattle, and it's just kind of lame. So Regina actually casts the curse, but you believe it's Victoria Belfry or whatever, Lady Tremaine, Rapunzel. How many names are they going to give one character? Like,
yeah.
They're like, I don't care what character this is today. He gets a new name. And then you find out that it was Ivy. And then you're like, oh, it's not Ivy. And then you think it's Lady Gothel. And then you're like, oh, it was Regina who casted it. She did it to save his life. And they broke the rule of how you can cast a curse.
Yes.
They're like, oh, you just need the magic from a witch who cast it. Well, why did Snow have to crush Charming's heart?
I know, and you see, I remember watching it, and it's like we had it all memorized, and then she's like, and then finally, I'm like, you have to kill the thing you love most, and yeah, right, they changed it. They're like, you have to have magic from the person who killed the thing that you love most.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's like we wouldn't remember that.
Stick with your lore.
Exactly. Well, that's the whole point. Because the whole second episode, probably one of the best episodes of Once Upon a Time season 1, was all about that. Amen to everything you just said, Steve. Steve is responding to Sweden. Sweden is Disney Star Wars with gonorrhea and diarrhea during epileptic seizures. There's an image for you, Biggles.
Yeah, it sounds normal.
Yeah, it sounds like a normal day. Well, especially if you eat that that shark that they have, that rotted shark fish food or whatever that you can get in Norway. Yeah. Okay. Hello, BC. Thank you. Wow. Thank you for everyone coming in. Howdy, Teresa. Biggles in chat says Zakrot. Yes. Dan Blackroyd says Biggles was reading. Oh, you say I was not reading. Has everyone visited Italy? Absolutely, I have. Yes. Italy's great. Rome, I did the whole thing there. Amazing. Some of the best art you'll ever see. Best pasta and dang good wine. Dan Blackbird said, you read New Curse when you pointed at it, Biggles. It's baby step.
Well, see, I already knew what the word was below. I just pointed to it.
There we go. You can tell I'm not reading because my glasses aren't on. Checkmate. Checkmate. Yeah. But yeah, that's the whole thing about this new curse. And it was also very confusing because I think they thought they would keep us in the dark and guessing about the curse. And they thought that was clever. But instead we were going, WTF. I just don't get what's going on.
Yeah, well, I was like, this sucks.
Yeah. Well, in the very first episode of Once Upon a Time, the pilot, they pretty much explained it. So we knew what was going on. Yeah. So so that whole new curse. Yeah. And then they broke their rules. And I swear, I had a friend, an acquaintance who finally put it all together, how all the different curses worked. And there was also the new enchanted forest, wasn't there? That where they were, where Henry
Well, it
met
was
Snow White, or was it the
yeah.
same?
No, so it's a totally different realm. So it's not
Yes.
even like the enchanted forest. It's just like well, I guess it's like more of a trying to think of the word. Like a French, not French, well, it's like Louisiana, but not Louisiana. So
Okay.
the people who had Louisiana like beforehand, like the French, but like
Yeah.
the other the other French people,
The
Creole,
Creoles.
yeah, the Creoles, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, so it's like their stories because it's the Frog Princess, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
Uh,
and and speaking of which, that's another part of our thing is new characters that goes along with new curse. I actually didn't mind the way the Frog Princess was in Once Upon a Time.
oh
This
yeah,
season 7.
Sabine is amazing. She's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I thought that she was great. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about her.
Yeah, so she's just a complete and utter badass. And she makes beignets.
Mm.
And she like takes control of her kingdom. She's kind of a control freak, and it's mentioned over and over and again. Um, and then yeah, I don't know much what else to say. It's
Yeah,
uh
I liked her.
yeah, she was great, and so was Prince Naveen. I really like Prince Naveen and
Hmm.
Dr. Facilier.
Yes,
Are
I
ab-
loved him. Loved
yes,
him.
yes, fantastic. Like Robert Carlyle levels of badassery,
Hmm.
uh, right there. And those
Yes,
two back and forth was even better.
yeah, their chemistry. That well, the acting ability of him. He was a perfect villain. It was just too late.
And
you know.
he wasn't even the villain.
Well, he was. Well, he was a little bit more gray at first, but I think they made him the villain like at the end because when they had to kill him because they were like, "Oh crap, we got to wrap this up," because they were having him and Regina
They
kind of.
just they just didn't want Regina to have a happy ending. And they're
Well, of
like,
course he
you
can't have
you
it.
they're like, Regina has a happy ending by being the queen of all the realms. She's elected queen. You don't elect a queen, Snow. Shut up, you dumb Snow. Like you only have 7 like words in the entire season and you ruin it. Like shut up, Snow.
The good
who
queen.
who let you talk?
I know. They did Regina wrong. They did Regina wrong. But yeah, but Facilier, he was great. The actor was great. His chemistry was great. And this is another theme I'm going to keep circling back to rather, is that they really did a lot of things in season 7 they should have been doing in season 4, 5, and 6 of Once Upon a Time, the TV show. That they should have brought those elements into it and gotten out of the little. They'd put themselves in this box where they just were having characters move forward and then move back.
Yeah.
And if they'd have let the characters move forward from where they were in season 3 and then introduced like Facilier as a foil to Rumpelstiltskin, while at the same time, even though Rumpelstiltskin is mostly good at this point,
Mhm.
that the way they were in season 7, that would have just been friggin' fantastic.
Yep. Yeah.
And also herself, the Frog Prince chick, and all of them. She could have had her little bus of beignets. And
Yeah.
it just would have been really awesome. You
Yeah.
um,
But
and oh, sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh no, I was
Oh,
just gonna say I was about to go on to the next topic because I want him to
oh,
have his own.
well, well, I kind of
Top-
want to keep talking about the new characters.
okay,
They
keep going.
have they have their first lesbian relationship that isn't forced.
Yeah,
Uh
that isn't like let's check a box.
they're like, okay, we turned these characters gay for no reason, and it doesn't make any sense. They're just gay now. But they
Yeah.
actually like built on this, and like it's probably my favorite love story in the entire show is Tilly slash Alice slash or and then Robin slash Margot.
Hmm.
Because it
Yeah.
was they like you show how they grow together and how they like really care about each other and it all happened because they stood up for each other when they needed to.
Yeah, it was organic. It
Yeah.
was, they were also in their own right good characters. That's another positive thing
Hmm.
about this. I thought that Alice, when I had first heard they were going to do a new Alice, I was like, really? But she was a pleasant surprise, and so was Robin. I think the casting of Robin was great too. She really looked like a mix of Robin Hood and Zelina.
Uh-huh. And she's really hot too. So.
Yeah. Yeah, she's gorgeous, and like I said, it was natural. It wasn't token, and they were main characters. Again, something that they should have done in the show, the normal show, uh, sooner. And it, like I said, so many missed opportunities. But yeah, and they didn't ever have any stupid soap opera stuff too, like separating them like the way they did with some of the other characters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because even when they met in Hibernian Heights or whatever, it was like they naturally were drawn to each other because,
She saved her life.
Yeah.
Margot literally pulled Tilly out of the middle of the road from getting hit by a truck, and she's like, "I'm just crazy Tilly," and she's like, "Well, hello, crazy Tilly." And you're like,
Yes, yes.
"Aw."
It was, yeah, it was good. They were good characters.
Yeah.
And so we had that. See, we talked about Ivy. I loved Ivy, and Lady
Mhm.
Tremaine. I wasn't too crazy about her. She was too much like new
She
Regina.
was bipolar,
Yeah,
very
and then when it
bipolar.
and then when it turned out she was really Rapunzel, I was like, okay.
That was bad too. I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah, and then the thing with her daughter.
Yeah, like I get rid of her, but throw her out. Let's go. Next
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, and I was also surprised when they were gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of a sudden, just boom.
Yeah, they just got rid of all her stepsisters and stepmother. They're like, "See ya, you're not needed in the story anymore."
Yeah, which is ridiculous because if you tell people that, hey, we want you to get invested in these characters and now we're just going to throw them out, then it's like, well, then why should I bother getting invested in any other characters that you have?
Yeah.
And I did like Ivy a lot. I wanted to see her. I wanted her and Henry together so bad. It was,
It made sense. They had the chemistry and the other two didn't.
exactly. And the other one was forced. Well, and for also, I mean, you talk about the quality of the actress. It was a chick who was in Rain, the title character of Rain that they got to play Ivy. And so it's like, dang it, you got this actress. Come on. Let's do this.
I Googled her. She was also in Neighbours, which is the Australian soap opera or whatever that Margot Robbie came from.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well.
So Lethal Lightning probably knew all about her when he was younger.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Neighbours, that was a big show, that and Home and Away. So, you heard it here first. Yeah, and so she's a very high-quality actress, and also will make a person a little bit depressed when you realize that for the most part, acting is one long defeat, that you can be this kind of big star and all that, and then you're begging to get a side role on Once Upon a Time. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But I thought that she was great. But you see that high quality, and the fact that she was, I did not realize at first that she was the same chick from Rain. So her accent and her acting was so good. So
yeah, I didn't know she was Australian until I looked her up, because I was like, "What's this chick's name? She's hot." And then I looked her up, and I was like, "Oh." Exactly. I was like, Lethal probably knows all about her. He's probably like, "Oh, that's one of our Australian heroes," Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you got to go.
And that wasn't me trying to do a Lethal accent either. So
yeah, I don't even try to do Australian. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have that, and then let's see. Well, you understand that I'm saving.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So, is there anyone else you want to talk about? I think is that all the new characters?
Yes, that's all the new characters, I think.
Yeah, because then by that point, I think they got canceled and they're like, ah, fudge, we need to
Yeah,
finish
yeah,
this party up. Okay, because this is a big, huge part of it. And I actually thought this was great. I thought it was a great idea and I loved him and I loved everything about him and his story. And that is Nook.
yep,
Love
yep.
him. I
So,
Go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. So,
Nope.
like in the first like 6 seasons, you see Hook, like normal Hook, and uh he's like trying to fit in with everybody, trying to win Emma's heart, and then you see him like try to be like a father figure to Henry, and you're like, oh, okay. And then in this one, you have Nook, new Hook, and he's like the father figure, well, because he is the father to Alice, and you really see he's like this. He's actually a great parent, and he cares more about his parent or his child than anything else. Even though he did make that little stop with his pride, and that was what poisoned his heart, but you could tell that he cared so much about his daughter, he gave up the Jolly Roger. And Old Hook uh, gave up the Jolly Roger for the thing he loved most, which was Emma.
Hmm.
And you see, Nook gave up his the Jolly Roger for the thing he loves his most, his daughter Alice.
Yeah. And I thought that it was a little more selfless to do that for his daughter than for Emma. And nothing against Emma, but when you've got when you're hot for the hot chick, even if it is the love of your life, there's always a teeny bit of selfishness in there. Like what can I get out of that? But the love for a father and his daughter, the way that Nook loved um, Alice, it really was beautiful and selfless. And I also thought that it gave Colin O'Donoghue a little bit more to work with, because for a very long time, and Once Upon a Time, even basically from season 4, 5, and 6,
It was just googly eyes for Emma.
yeah, it was
I love you, Emma. Like
it,
that.
yeah, exactly. Like the character, like he reached his pinnacle when he did the whole thing, like I sold the ship for you and all that, and then he never had anywhere to go from there, and he just stayed there. So it was good to see Colin O'Donoghue getting to flex his muscles a little bit and play once again, the bad guy and becoming a good guy in a different way. Um,
Agreed.
and I
And
really enjoyed him. It was painful to watch season 7. I agree, Mark.
yeah, and he was a good detective too. Like I liked him as a detective.
Yes. And speaking of things they should have done in the real show sooner, I loved Weaver and Roger. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that they were a fantastic buddy cop team, and they kind of hated each other and didn't know why, but they also had respect for each other, and I just loved watching them. I could watch Robert Carlyle and Colin O'Donoghue playing these roles all day. I could just see them sitting there in a police station.
Uh yeah, they carried the season.
Hmm. Yeah, I thought they were great, and then the way that they helped each other out, like when I'm going to get to it in a second, but when Weaver found out, sorry, rather, Roger, was he Captain Roger? I keep wanting to say he was
Detective.
detective. Yeah, when he found out that Weaver, aka Rumpelstiltskin, was looking for his wife, that his wife was missing. He seemed to genuinely care about that. So I like that. And I also loved at the very end when the real curse, when all the curses were broken, and he just looks and he's like, crocodile. Because they really started to kind of like each other, and then when the
Uh-huh.
curse broke, they were like, "Oh dang!" It's like, well, I guess we're kind of friends now. Okay. I thought that was really a great moment, and it really allowed those actors to do that, and they could have done something similar in the TV show. When I say the TV show, I'm always talking about seasons 1 through 6, or rather seasons 4 through 6, where with the right kind of writing, they could have had a really cool frenemies thing going on.
Yeah. instead of what we got,
hmm
which
which
was
was
trash.
yeah, which is the same thing regurgitated over and over again. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed his relationship with his daughter, and I think they very wisely did not have Nook have a love interest, because I think even though it wasn't really Hook, I don't think people would have accepted it.
People probably would have rioted. It's not Emma.
Yeah, and then given death threats to the actor, because talk about weirdos. Yeah, people were really stalkery towards some of these actors, and it was really kind of getting out of
Oh
hand.
yeah, like some people don't even know that the actor is an actor and not the actual character.
Yeah, exactly, and like want them to get together in real life. I know that was a thing that came up in the Star Wars community. Well, I shouldn't say the Star Wars community. It wasn't, but
The
about people that
crazy
wanted,
people, the
yeah,
Raylos,
yeah, Raylos, yeah, that they wanted Daisy Ryder and Adam,
Ridley,
whatever, to be driver to
Adam
be to
Driver, and Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley. That's it.
You were mashing their last names
Oh
together.
no, I did it! Oh gosh, I'm a Raylo. Oh my gosh, I just shipped them. Oh my gosh. Okay, it turns out yes, I was the one stalking them all this time. I wanted them to be together, but no. But remember that they they were like threatening his wife. It's like, oh, if she would only be gone, then they'd be together. It's like, no, they were just two actors working together. I mean, the dude
Yeah.
was been married, and it's like, and there was some of that with Hook and, uh, or rather, the actors, and it's like, listen, all the actors in Once Upon a Time were like married, and they were popping out babies left and right as well. It was there was even a joke. It's like, if you don't want to get pregnant, don't go visit the set of Once Upon a Time, because everyone kept getting pregnant or getting their wives pregnant. Um, so yeah, but loads of fun. 2 thumbs up. I loved everything about them, and their buddy cop thing, and they should have done that sooner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Nook a lot.
Anything else to say about Nook?
Uh, no.
No. Okay, because my next one, and I love this part of it, Finding Beauty, because there was an episode called Beauty. It aired around Halloween, and this was the first full episode I watched because I could have cared less. But when Robert Carlyle and Emily the
No.
Raven were gushing over this, like, we're having an episode, Beauty. Oh my gosh, y'all got to watch this. And I know they're not full of crap, so I'm like, okay, this is going to be an episode that I, as a fan of Beauty and the Beast, will like. And once again, it's like they did everything they probably should have done
Earlier. Yep.
earlier. Like, instead of turning them into some sort of psycho couple, you finally got to see them traveling the world, because that was the whole thing, was that he was going to show Belle the world, because she wanted to see everything. That was something from Skin Deep, that they got to raise their son, and you got to see them going through all the stages of, he goes off to college, and
Uh-huh.
they go and retire together. So it was a beautiful, beautiful episode. And that part of their quest was they were going to work together to try to break his curse. And then it was really, what is it, like the first few minutes of the the movie Up, based on that. And then, but Belle is getting old, while Rumpel obviously is not getting old. And
Uh-huh.
oh my gosh, when she dies.
Oh,
Oh, Niagara Falls. I mean, and she's like, well, he's like, I can't, live without you, I'm afraid. And she said, well, let me tell you a story. And then she goes, once upon a time. And then she told their story, and even some of the bad parts of it. And it had the music and showing all their moments. And I'm like, oh, kill me now. This is so sad. And then she dies. But part of then his quest is, because she even believed him, it's like, you'll find a way, was that his wanting to break the curse was then to be with her forever in heaven.
mm-hmm.
And she was like, I know you're going to make your way to me. And so that's also I call Finding Beauty, was because Weaver, Rumpelstiltskin, Mr. Gold, whatever is all his 500 names, his reason of existence for the rest of the series is breaking the curse, redeeming himself, and finding Belle and getting to be reunited with her.
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I had to gush on that because, and again, it was the episode that we deserved as fans of Rumbelle that we really got crapped on for a very long time. So they gave us a love letter.
Well, let's be fair. She went to hell.
Oh,
she was an adulterer. She went to hell.
Oh gosh, that would be dark as F if Rumpel.
And when they meet together, they're in hell. And they're
or worse, Rumpel goes to heaven, and they're like, "Oh, oops. Well, Belle actually's in hell, so now so all you had to do is keep being a horrible person."
and you find like they go and you see them reunite and they're in hell and you just see Arthur looking at them like
flames burning. That's dark as fuck.
That would have been so funny. I was good for nothing.
Yes, exactly. Okay, hi Jacob. Thank you for being here. Good evening. Yes, thank you. Well, thank you for giving the dark ending to Once Upon a Time we never got. Thank goodness. Oh gosh, that would be so messed up. Hello, it's Puddin' Tame. Yay, great to see you. The Up episode, yes, the only good, fantastic episode of this season. More, you missed it though. Biggles and I were talking about your gosh, what the hell? I want to call him Sommelier. What's his name?
Oh, Facilier?
Thank you, Facilier, not Sommelier. Sommelier is someone that serves you wine. Yeah, she loved some. So yeah, we loved him too. Yeah, that's good stuff right there. And yeah, I've been gushing about beauty. Michael's Asylum says, did anyone think a dark one can really go to heaven? It's like, no, not while they're the dark one, but that's the whole point, is that he had to break his curse and redeem himself, which is at the climax of the season, which has actually the only really great line of season 7 and one of the best ones in the entire series. And I'm saving that for last. Yeah. Broken Heart. Yeah. There was a lost opportunities there. So that's his motivation that he has for the rest of the season. And I think that's good. And I think that his life that he lived with Belle also makes him less selfish. He learns, you can be happy without being a douche. And he's very kind to Alice. I'd like that kind of how he looked after her. So good stuff. And of course, Beauty was also the episode where I was like, oh gosh, Henry's got to get together with this chick. It's not this stupid Snow White. And at this point, who cares about Lucy, this child? I mean, it's like she was supposed to be the center character, and I mean, she wasn't anything.
Yeah, she was boring.
Yeah. Well, and part of what made her boring was they just tried.
The
writing, yeah. They everything that they had her being was exactly what Henry was, young Henry. And it's like, listen, if they'd have made her own character, but there was really no room for a child in this season. I don't think it was needed. Yeah. So. All right, and now we're going to move on to, this goes a little bit with new characters, but I wanted to give them their own category. Psychos!
So, Lady Gothel, the rapist, or the therapist, sorry, the therapist.
Yeah, the therapist. Yeah.
So we have Lady Gothel, the therapist, and then we have Nick Hansel.
Yes.
Jack, he's crazy.
I love him.
We have you could say Tilly's kind of psycho, but in a good way.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
she's not like a real psycho.
uh,
She's just batshit. Well, she's just confused because of all the curse stuff and all that, and the drugs. They're making her take drugs and stuff.
oh yeah, they were drugging her. So at least this season made a good reference to drugs are bad.
Yeah,
They
just
want you to stay on drugs.
yeah. Therapists and drugs are bad. When I say
Yeah,
therapist,
therapist.
therapists.
Therapist
Yeah.
is a bad thing.
Yeah, though I'll tell you what, this therapist, when that happened, we were all, what is with these guys and raping men? I mean,
You should have said therapist.
yeah, but I mean, Regina was, Zelina was, and Gobel or whatever her name was,
Gothel was.
Gothel, yeah, and they all kept having therapist babies. It's like, hey, I'm all for life, but come on, people, what the hell happened in your childhood? That made
Maybe they had to go to the therapist too many times.
Oh yeah. I don't know, but I loved the serial killer story and the candy, and that you'd get a thing of candy from
Yeah,
that was a cool story.
and I was hoping he killed more of them.
Yes. I thought it was dark. I thought it was different. It was different. That's the other thing. It's like, yeah, bring it on. We got ourselves some criminal minds going.
And the thing is, he didn't even think he was in the wrong. Like, he was killing these people because they did bad things. They were witches, right? But the whole Zelina thing doesn't make any sense. They're in Oz, right? But you meet Gretel in the episode with Ivy with the where they're looking for the flower and she kills his sister or whatever. Yeah. They're not in Oz. And she's like, oh, he's going around the realm in a different name. So either it's saying they're in Oz, that other realm is Oz, or they knew how to hop realms as well. Which it's like, are you kidding me, guys? Like,
it's like
you
catching
put
a bus.
them in Oz. You put them in Oz, and now they're in the other part of Oz. Okay, so you're saying Oz has all these other different characters? So, all right, whatever. Like,
yeah, I think at this point they couldn't even keep that part of it straight.
Well, they did break that fourth wall with near in the very end with the author. The author was like, oh, I can tell you're an author. I mean, the timelines are kind of mixed up, right? So he mentions that like their timelines are all over the place, but nothing makes sense,
Yeah, and there was some fun pointing it out at themselves. Yeah, Puddin' Tame says yes. The Hansel episode was great. Yes, I agree. That was probably next to Beauty, my favorite part of season 7. I thought it was great arc. What was he named? Like the Candy Killer, or I forget what it was.
The Candy Killer.
Yeah, it was creepy. I mean, it's something you again would see, unfortunately, in our real lives, or not in my real life, rather. But I haven't had any serial killers in my life, thank goodness. Maybe a few psychos, though. Puddin' Tame says, the only other thing I would have liked to have seen the writers remember was that Rumpel was Henry's grandfather and was an author. Yes. Yeah, they gave just a small nod about their relationship, like at the very end. But you are correct. And they downplayed the author part until the last episode.
And it doesn't make sense. We'll wait. I'll wait to say that once we get there. But
finale.
Yeah. But yeah, they're just psychos. Like Gothel is just like, oh, well, trees. And she's like, I'm going to kill all these people because of all the bad things happened to me. And you get that episode where she's like a tree nymph or whatever. Yeah. And she goes and she like tries to be friends with these people. And her mom and sister are like, no, don't do that. And she's like, don't tell me what to do. And goes there. And then all her mom and all her sisters are dead. way to not listen. So now you go and you're like, oh, I'm going to have everybody's life ruined, turn them all into trees. I am queen now or mother now or whatever. Lady
Yeah.
Dawn.
Yeah, if you'd have only listened, you dumb witch.
Yeah. And if Hansel, Hansel, whatever the fuck his name is, I don't know, was just like didn't try to stab Zelina, he wouldn't have got burned. He wouldn't have went psycho and tried to kill every witch. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Just one thing leads to another.
yeah, bad parenting by the blind guy. The clearly the other Hansel and Gretel's parents were better, even
Yeah.
though they didn't exist.
Yeah. Well, they lived happily ever after with their dad somewhere in the cul-de-sac where.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Where characters just went because the actors got better things in other movies. No, but I loved the Psychos in this, and I love the way that they wrapped it up. It was fun, and that psycho bitch got what was coming to her.
Uh-huh.
I always liked that, and well, so did Hansel as well. So, and then I do have a soft spot for the way the whole curse broke through all that. I got to admit that one was kind of nice.
Yeah, and guess what? It wasn't true love between Henry and Jacinda. Why? Because there's no chemistry there.
Well, yeah, it's like, oh gosh. I mean,
when he kissed Ivy, it should have broke, and he would have been like, "What the hell, Jacinda?"
Yes, exactly.
It would have been so funny.
Yeah.
Awful, but funny. I've been like, you married my sister and we were true love.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, no,
so
I think that would have been, well, it would have been one hell of a twist, but I would have been in favor of something like that because I think that they made a mistake. They obviously had a mandate to diversify their cast, and they really wanted to have a Hispanic Cinderella. They were very open about that. And unfortunately, I'm sure they got the best actress they felt they could, but that necessarily was not the best actress for the part, and they limited themselves with that.
Well, I mean, they could have still had Cinderella, and just instead of her marrying or him marrying Cinderella, he could have married Drizella and had Cinderella be evil.
Hey, that would have been a twist, and then just not have the kid at all because obviously the kid. It was just ill-conceived. We didn't need to have Lucy, and that was just lazy writing.
Well, in 6A, they had an evil Cinderella, remember?
Oh,
and then she screwed over Drizella, right?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, that they kind of did a little bit of a retro back story on that.
Yeah, so they could have done that. They could have. They already had the idea.
Yeah,
they could have done it. And it would have worked. It would have been so much better if Cinderella was the one who did the curse. And she killed her Prince Charming.
Ooh.
You know the one she went to stab in the beginning?
Yeah.
If she would have ripped out his heart and cast the curse. Do you know how much better season 7 would have been?
That would have been badass.
I should have wrote for this show.
Yeah, I think loads of people
done so much better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and as far as diversity, and you see, diversity for diversity's sake doesn't work. No, it doesn't. I mean, and we did have a diversity in a interracial relationship with Regina and Facilier, and they had great chemistry. I thought that they did, even though I was kind of ticked off because I'm still a Robin Hood purist, but I can also acknowledge that they did have chemistry.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah, so it's not because of that. Yeah, the land without cameras. Yeah, we used to call it that. The land without cameras. That's where they all went. That's where the Winter Soldier went, and Frederick and Abigail. Yes. Okay. Well, do you have anything more to say about Psychos? I mean, in the
No,
show, not in real life.
no.
Yeah, we know plenty of real psychos. And so now, okay, we've been holding off, but now we can let it rip. The real finale, like the real finale for real, no joke. This time it's really over.
Makes 0 sense. There we go. And I'll tell you why.
Okay,
Ready?
tell me why.
All right. So the whole thing is they start off and you see Wish Realm Henry. Oh, wait, hold on. Before that, there's like a little bit at the end. And Rumple comes out, kills Facilier, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you thought a Wish Realm can't hold me, you know. Boom. And now they're I don't know why I went French.
What's the phone?
And then they start off right off the bat cucking Wish Realm Henry. He's like goes to save the girl and he like gets smacked, and then this guy just walks in and throws a sword like he's Emma and hits the dragon in the chest, kills the dragon, kisses the girl, she wakes up. How, like, if Henry would have kissed that girl, she wouldn't have woke up.
Yeah.
And he would have been like, what the fuck? Right? And the dude just comes in, kisses the girl, wakes up, and she's like, oh, what are you doing here, Henry? And she's like, I was in the neighborhood. I was just checking in on you. Like, what?
Yeah.
What like, he's like the brother I never had. Like, and I was like, oh, shit, poor Henry. Something's bad going to happen, right, with this Henry.
Oh.
And then you like go through and you see the plan, and he kidnaps Jacinda and
Lucy,
whatever. Girl Henry.
New Henry, yeah, girl Henry, yeah.
Kidnaps girl Henry, and they literally are in like a snow globe.
Oh yes.
And you're like, what the fuck? And they're like, and then he's like, oh, the only reason why I did this was so I could get the author pen. And like Henry goes to get the author pen, and then he steals the pen from Henry and gives it to Wish Realm Henry.
Which makes
the author just said there is no author in this realm. So that Henry is different than this Henry and cannot use the pen. Just because you have the same name does not mean you can do it. And they've already showed in other things, when you kill the Wish Realm version of yourself, you don't kill the real life version of yourself. So the great sacrifice at the end, which was amazing because you got Robert Carlyle going against Robert Carlyle.
yes,
which was fantastic. And he just like rips out his heart, puts it in Nook.
Yeah.
Right? And then the other one dies. Like, that's not how the Wish Realm works.
No, it was, when it happened with Rumple and all that, it was great drama, but yeah, not necessarily consistent.
Nothing in this finale makes any sense at all. And it also has snow, which means it ruins everything. And like,
but it has charming though. It has charming.
Well, they should have had more charming and less snow.
Well, how could they have had less snow? They had like 3 seconds of her.
Yeah, 3 seconds too much.
Oh my.
Ugh. They could have just like cut her out and just had Charming the whole time. Give Charming her 7 lines, okay?
Oh my god.
Oh my good. It doesn't make any sense. None of it makes sense. Like, but like it had some cool scenes, and I didn't like the finale at all. Like, just from like a storytelling point. And
no, it was a storytelling mess, because you could tell they were like, okay, let's pull out a whole bunch of stuff out of our butts because we have to finish it up.
Yeah, but Nook and Rumple were the only good parts of that. Basically.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. And before I go on to my point, Puddin' Tame says, or Henry, being an author, could have discovered new people that hadn't had their story written, and they could have had original character. Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
that's why he went to that other realm to go to stories or to go to a land where their stories haven't been written,
And then they didn't use them.
and they ruined it.
Yeah, exactly, precisely. Um, but I'll tell you what, though, the way that they wrapped up Rumpel's story, it was very well done. And of course, Robert Carlyle acted the hell out of it because he reaches the point where he gives up what he believes is giving up his chance to be with Belle because he's still only thinking about it in a technical way and maybe not in a metaphysical way.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, okay, screw it. I'm never going to see Belle again, but I'm going to do the right thing. And then when he gives that big speech as he's kind of walking and to his other self, he's saying, I finally figured out that you don't do the right thing for a reward. You do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And then he rips out his own heart, and as you said, and puts it into Nook, and little realizing that it was that act of sacrifice, that truly reaching that selfless point is what saves him. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's not about you, dude. You did, and he made the pure sacrifice. And then Regina says goodbye to him. I thought that was a very moving goodbye because again, they completely erased what happened in season 6, which we all knew is that no, they were not romantically involved ever.
Mm-hmm.
It was a father-daughter mentor thing, and she thanked him for everything he taught her and said, and thank you for giving me that final lesson. And he says, now, and she goes, now go on to your happy ending. And he goes, and they're at the well where they got married, and Belle's in her wedding gown, or her ball gown, and they kiss and go into the light. So I thought that was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But now we know that Biggles wanted us to have a twist where it's like, actually, Belle's in hell.
Belle is in hell
You
because she
wasted
isn't
all that
helpful.
time. You should have just stayed bad. He's like, what? Or as you said, or they both go to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that ending, and like you said, Carlisle against Carlisle, it was absolute epic, which is why he is the man. Yeah, Puddin' Team. The rules for Wish Realm were thrown out the window. Yeah, and you remember this, Maury, because we had too much fun with it. Because at the time, the writer Jane Espenson was saying one thing, answering fans' questions, and Adam Horowitz was saying something completely opposite. And everyone's like, "You all can't even keep your story straight together. You all don't even understand the rules."
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, you definitely had to throw out any suspension of disbelief to enjoy any aspect of season 7, and I think that I thought it was a very satisfactory ending.
Season 7 had an emotional episode. I almost even thought about crying. Uh,
Oh,
it was Secret Gardens, where Margot, I think Margot's first introduced, and she starts off trying to cast a spell or whatever, trying to be like her mom, learning magic, and then she gets tricked by Lady Gothel, and they were going to sacrifice her, and her mother, uh, Zelina, goes to sacrifice herself for it, and that was a really emotional part, uh, because it was a mother sacrificing herself for her daughter.
oh,
And then at the very end, you have Lady Tremaine sacrificing herself for Drizella, even though, like, every episode before that, she was like, I hate you. You're not my daughter. And you're
yeah,
like, oh, I guess she really does love her daughter, even though she's been a total C word.
yeah.
Uh, and I don't mean it the way the Aussies mean it. I mean the way Americans get offended by it.
Oh, okay.
If I meant it the way the Aussies did it, I would have straight up just said the word.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah. There's definitely a cultural difference there. Yeah. The way that when you say it in America, yeah, it's not good at all, in any sense of the word. Good point. I'd forgotten to bring that up, but you are correct. That was really good. And also, I thought it was moving how Zelina actually did find true love. And she thought that she would lose him when she found out because she wasn't being honest with him about being, a fairy tale character.
Uh-huh.
And that he actually was cool with it and she kind of got her happy ending.
Yeah. It's like, I killed all these people in the past. Oh, I don't care. That's your past. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Oh yeah, and they brought Robin Hood back for a dream sequence.
Yeah.
And reminding us once again, oh yeah, this is what we lost because they had really good chemistry. Um, and of course Emma comes back for a few minutes
Yeah,
at the
they should have had more Emma. But you know what? Because they go back in time, it doesn't make any sense that Emma, like, they didn't even put like makeup to make her look older.
no,
Because it's like Lucy's 8, right? So Lucy is 8. Henry was away for like 10 years. So Emma should be, let's see, there was the first 6 years. Emma was 28, so 34. So Emma should be like 46 or something at the time of this
you know,
episode, and she still looks like she's 30 something.
I think you're right that there was a big discussion about that. It's like how old actually are they? Because you're right, the time did pass.
I mean, it doesn't matter that Hook looks the same, right?
Yeah,
Because Hook was in what's it called, Neverland for like over 100 years, so he's
yeah,
already like
old.
300 years old. So who cares
Yeah,
that
because
he looks exactly the same?
Yeah, because she was 28 when it started, when the season premiered. So she was 36. And then, yeah, you are absolutely right. She should be pushing 50. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
they should have made her look older. They should have like put makeup on her
Hmm.
to make her look older.
Yeah. Now, I do know for a fact that the reason they didn't have a lot of Emma in that finale is the actress wasn't too gung ho for it. And she said something to the effect of, I can give you this window for like 5 hours or whatever. And it's just enough for one scene. So that's why they wrote that. It was just a very quick thing where she just runs in and does that. Um,
Well, she was probably doing something else though too. So
yeah, she had moved on. They all had, and they were all really wicked too because they spoiled a bunch of the finale. Like
I
that.
believe it.
Yeah, that they were at the thing, and Emma, she spoiled like the name of the baby, and Robin Hood, I think he spoiled like his part of the story, and because he's still bitter, Sean
I don't blame
McGuire, and
him. I don't blame him.
yeah, I don't. And then like some random person on the set published like the call scenes. I mean, everyone was just like, "Fuck you!" Pardon my French, but screw you all. And they were done. But oh, well, you said it already. But that final thing where you get to be the good
The first
queen.
elected queen of the new realm, or the
Yeah,
new
yeah,
United Realms.
because all the realms came
And
together.
and I was like, she's queen. You don't elect a queen, Snow.
Yeah. This
Way to
isn't the
way to
Phantom
ruin
Menace.
everything, you dumb girl. Uh,
Yeah.
and then like uh Emma comes in and they're all like helping with the thing, and she's like, "Excuse me, Emma, I'm like doing something here, you dumb child. So glad I had you abandoned as a child and you were an orphan." Like that's basically how Snow was treating her in that scene. Like, chill, lady.
Yeah.
Your granddaughter is crying. Like,
Yeah. Well, I thought it was cute that Hook had like a little rubber thing on the end of his hook so that I guess he wouldn't, you know,
stab the
impale his
baby.
daughter. Yeah.
Damn it, baby.
It's like, oops.
Emma,
Oh,
we need a new baby.
yeah. Yeah, that's another dark turn the show could have taken. Um, well, and Alice and Robin had their happy ending too, and well, and okay, this was ridiculous. Wish Henry, still looking like he's 15, becomes the sheriff of Storybrooke or something. Like, what the
Wait,
hell was that even?
is that what happened? I didn't
Well, yeah,
even
because he's
notice
like
that.
wearing the sheriff thing at the end. I think seem to remember that, and I'm
I
like,
literally just watched this like 3 hours ago, and I don't remember that.
okay, maybe I'm misremembering it, but I seem to remember.
You
Yeah,
could be right.
correct me
You
if
could
I'm.
be right.
Everybody, Google. Correct me if I'm wrong. About that. For some reason, I thought that he like became the sheriff or something. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't.
Um, yeah, Maury says they could have done what they wanted to do with the Wish realm and not have to break the rule of the realm if they had just used Wish Rumple to cast a spell to bring the realm into reality. Boom. Yeah, there you go. I know. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
didn't
they
mean to.
tortured Blue too. They tortured Blue too. That was kind of cool.
Oh, yeah. Shady Blue, Shady Blue. Yeah. Yeah. And Wish Henry. I mean, technically, shouldn't they all have like poofed and ceased to exist when they left the Wish
Yes.
world? Why am I thinking this? Am I going crazy? Well, wouldn't be the first time. Oh, I guess you got to put Once Upon a Time, because if you just put, yeah, here he is wearing the sheriff star at the ceremony when Regina is being crowned. I do love the two Henrys, though. I think that the actor they got to play grown up Henry, he really was good, and that they really did look like he could have been the older version of him.
Uh huh.
Well, that was in season 6 where
Oh,
they
he
did.
is. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. And the way they had the phone call to each other, I loved that. I thought that was awesome. He's like, "Are you Henry?" He's like, "I'm Henry."
Yeah,
Is this Henry Mills? Yeah, that
and
was
he's like remembers everything because he called himself.
yes. That was cool. I did like that. So,
Which changes the way time travel works in their show too.
oh wait, don't even. They had to stop the show at this point because none of it was making sense.
Ugh.
And then they did a thing where leaving Storybrooke, well, they went to the sign, the famous town line, and you saw that. So that gave you a little bit of nostalgia. Puddin' Tame says, "Well, George Lucas elected Queens in the boot." Yeah, Phantom Menace. Yeah, Padme. Well, we all saw how that turned out. It'll make you lose the will to live. Well, I'll tell you, this show made me lose the will to watch by the end. But I think that we all did tune in for the last 2 episodes. I do recall that because it was the end for real. We all thought that season 6 was gonna be it. So, we really were able to say goodbye. I think they wrapped it up as best as they could with what they had. They shouldn't have even had a season 7. Um, and well, some of
Oh,
the actors went on. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
they also made a really stupid joke in that episode with Hansel and Gretel.
Oh.
The blind witch is like, they're starving kids in Arendelle, so you got to like eat your food. They're starving kids in Arendelle. You do realize that is Arendelle is a place that's like covered in snow, and their economy runs on ice making.
Yeah.
So no one's starving there.
Yes.
If their economy runs on cutting ice in a place surrounded by ice, no one is starving. They can
Yeah,
all
they're doing just fine. Yeah, that was they just wanted to name drop it because they could, because Disney owns it, and they could because they could. Holy moly, though, wasn't that something else?
they could have said starving kids in Africa because of Tarzan,
Yeah.
who is Anna and Elsa's older brother. Or
Oh
younger
my
brother. Sorry, younger brother. And the
young
true King of Arendelle.
oh
Just saying. Sorry, Elsa.
Starving. Oh, yeah. Michael's Silence said, I love the Frozen arc in Once Upon a Time. Yes, I think that they did a good job, and it worked as a miniseries. And I think they should have done more just miniseries like that, and what they ended up doing with Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, which I loved. I absolutely adored Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. I thought it was fantastic.
Are
Nothing
we
bad to
doing that?
say.
Are we doing that in a couple weeks?
Well, yeah, that's something for us to talk about. I'm not sure that. Well, we'll have to talk to Stephanie. I mean, I'm planning on discussing it, and I might bring on some other people too, because it. Not everyone watched it, but everyone I know that watched it loved it. That there were a few people that I practically had to like sit down and force them to. But when we did, I know that the little people in my life, they loved it. They thought it was great, and I think it worked so well because it was finite. It wasn't originally supposed to be, and when they finally realized, no, this isn't going to work, we're not going to get renewed, so they spent the second half of it wrapping it up. I thought it was a great show.
Well, it was Millie Bobby Brown's first acting job. Was she the one who played Alice?
Yeah, she played like psycho crazy Alice. Yeah, the one, remember zombie Alice? Yeah, she played cute Alice, but yeah, it was her. And when there was like alternate Alice, yeah. uh,
I don't know. I just remember I liked what's his name?
Will.
Will Scarlet.
Will was a great character. So was Anastasia. Will and Anastasia's romance was amazing.
Yeah, and she was
And
hot.
yeah, and well, and the whole thing with Jafar, I loved that story. I thought that was great. Of course, just like always, they ruined it by trying to change it when they tried to integrate some of those characters into the.
I didn't like either Jafar, the one from this one or that one.
Oh, you did? No, I thought
Yeah,
it was a
I
good
remember
story.
telling you that before that I didn't like the Jafar.
Yeah,
But then
I
again, I watched it after I finished all of Once Upon a Time.
Oh, that's true. Well, yeah, Naveen Andrews, I can grant you that. I just thought that the whole premise of it, I thought was great. Like the reason why his motivation with his father and all that, I thought that was pretty badass. And I liked Alice and what's his name. I thought they had good chemistry. I thought the ending was great. But yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. So this is season 7 of Once Upon a Time. We have. Well, yeah, we've been doing these once a month for 7 months, so good times as always. And I want to thank you, Biggles, for being here and being a great panelist. We miss Stephanie, but maybe we'll catch you some other time. I know that things are busy. And my goodness. Do Warehouse 13 next. Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be like a series. This was kind of finite because it was the 10th anniversary of Once Upon a Time, and I think that we just really wanted to share how much we loved it, and it's been loads of fun.
Is Warehouse 13 a Once Upon a Time spinoff?
No, it's a whole different premise, but it's a kind of a fantasy thing.
No.
I never actually watched it. My folks did, but yeah. So that's that. So before we get ready to sign off on all this, is there are there any final thoughts you have about all this?
I liked almost all of the new characters except for Lady Gothel, Jacinda, and I really didn't care much for Lucy.
Yeah. I mean, the
so
kids
new characters were cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the actress was cute. Nothing against her. It just was a crap character. It was stacked against her.
Copy and paste, gender changed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just didn't work. But yeah, there were some cool characters, cool premises, some of the creativity that they should have been allowed to have done sooner. Yeah. But Once Upon a Time in general, just as a TV show.
My general thoughts?
Yeah. Or anything you want to say.
So the more I watched it, This is probably like my fifth viewing of it.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm going to say I don't like it as much as I used to.
Yeah.
When you asked me to start this, I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I really like this. And then I just restarted watching them and I was like, oh my God, bad storytelling here, all
Hmm.
this. And I was like, I was just so good for one watch through. Don't spend more time watching it. Just save yourself the trouble and stop after season 3.
Yeah.
Or watch the first part of season 4 and then
Yeah, watch some of the Frozen stuff,
yeah.
and then but skip the Storybrooke stuff because that's crap. I would agree with you. When I have rewatched Once Upon a Time, I usually just rewatch the first 3 seasons. I really genuinely almost forget deliberately what happened after season 3, and it wasn't until we were going through the season by season that I revisited some of these painful memories. Yeah, Michael Sam has so much limited rewatchability. I think that the original premise, the original story, the way it was in seasons 1, 2, and 3, I think it was ingenious. I think it was entertaining. It was fun. It gave you hope. It was beautiful. I really can't say anything bad about all of that, and it was some of the best TV you would see at that time, and and then just went to hell. Yeah, Michael says it's a little more different than you're watching when you're watching it with a more critical eye. Yeah. Yeah, it
Well,
was
I mean,
very hard to continue reviewing this and covering this every week when it was just like we were all just losing the will to watch. It was very hard. Michael Sam says the theme music was 10 out of 10. Oh yeah, my Mark Isham, yeah, holy crud. Yeah, got to interview him and speak with him a few times. Great guy. Amazing composer, and the way that he worked his themes and the leitmotifs into the characters, it was good stuff. I own all the soundtracks. I think they only released 1, 2, and 3 as far as albums, but definitely, absolutely 10 out of 10. He's a god.
I enjoy
And yeah, and I again, I can't say, and I won't say anything bad about Adam Horowitz. He was always great with me, and so and the actors were just lovely people. Uh, the very generous, very gracious, and very open and polite. I mean, everything about it. They were genuine, and so I can't say anything bad about that experience. And I have very fond memories, and that's why I still follow around Robert Carlyle. I was a fan of his nominally, but now I'll watch anything that man does. I'll follow him anywhere, and I do like Josh Dallas's work on Manifest, even though he's basically playing the same character. That's okay, and I'm happy for him. So very, very, very good times.
um what was I going to say? Oh yeah, the first time I watched this show, it was like I said, I watched it because of a girl. And so like the first time I watched the show, I really liked it because I was only paying attention to the important parts.
Mm-hmm.
That way I could talk to the girl about it. So
Ah.
I missed all the like little things that bug me watching it like now. I'm like, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you didn't have an old
I was just like watching it to like try to figure out what parts I needed to talk to her about.
uh well, hey, that's as good a motivation as any. Oh boy. Yeah, Michael says Manifest is kind of boring only watching for Josh. Yeah. Manifest, I quit watching it, and then when I found out that it had been uh renewed to finish it up, I binge watched it from the first half of season 1, 2, and I think season 3 it's much better when you binge it. Um, so gosh darn, yeah. Some great memories, great memories. Well, where can we find you, Biggles?
You can find me over at YouTube on or youtube.com/BigglesMets.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can find me on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/BigglesMet or Biggle_Mets.
All right.
I'll
Yeah.
put those in the chat.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for doing that. And of course, you can find me here at Miss Martin Muses. I have, what is it? This Saturday we are doing the Silmarillion. We are almost finished with it. We have 2 more weeks on the Silmarillion. We've been doing the entire corpus of the main works of J.R.R. Tolkien. We've done the Lord of the Rings trilogy. We have done the Hobbit and the Silmarillion. It's been taking us about a year. It's been really great journey because the show that shall not be named, I am not going to be covering it, but if anyone wants to see what Tolkien wrote about the Second Age, well, maybe see some of those on my channel. And then we're also going to be starting, once we're done, the Sword of Shannara. So if you want to start reading that. Yeah.
You're not going to go into the adventures of Tom Bombadil?
No, I mean, there are some other ones, but no, we're not doing that. The Unfinished Tales or anything. We feel like we've done the main, the core that needs to be done, and we didn't want to retread anything. But yeah, love what is good out there. Love what is good, and I encourage people to look backwards if you need to, not just with the Tolkien works the way he wrote them, but also there's loads of really, really good fantasy. I'm going through the Dragonlance Chronicles right now on my own, and the R.A. Salvatore, I have that coming next, of the Dritz novels, the Dark Elf stories, and there's loads of really, really high quality fantasy out there, and you don't need to watch any of this drivel. And yeah, we're going to do Sword of Shannara. Yeah, Shannara is a great book series, and the TV show sucked. Yeah, and it sucked because they weren't faithful to it. Also, Raymond E. Feist, 4 novels as well. So that's that. We're going to be wrapping up this party. We're going to be wrapping this party. Let's thank you for everyone for being here in the chat. Always appreciate you. Of course, Michael's Asylum, you were, thank you. Great comments come through here. It's always great to see people that watch Once Upon a Time. We had Maury. Thank you for popping in. Stieg said hi. He's not watched it, but thank you for popping in and saying hi to us. Zakrot, Dan Blackroyd, and if I'm forgetting anyone, mea maxima culpa. I appreciate you all. This little corner of the internet. If I just like sharing what I love, well, and what ticks me off too. It's been a while since I've talked about what really ticks me off. I've had a few rants over the years, but
Chapter 6, or season 6.
Season 6. Oh yeah, that really ticked me off. Gosh, 6A. Yeah, that really ticked me off. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, have a great evening, everyone. Have a great evening, and be certain to just end your series after season 6.